Good morning. I'm Steve Jurens with your live Northeast Radio SD News for Wednesday, February 4th, 2026. Your news this hour is brought to you by Watertown Development Company, Watertown's established economic growth and development professionals. Check out the no cost online courses available to help local entrepreneurs. Learn more at WDCSD.com under the Events tab. The Watertown Development Company equals economic mobility. Tomorrow is a day to celebrate the power of positivity in Northeast South Dakota. The Watertown Optimist Club is joining volunteers globally for Optimist Day this Thursday, February 5th. This annual event recognizes optimism in action, provided by members who work year round to support local youth and strengthen the community. Local members will mark the day by wearing club apparel and reflecting on major projects that have shaped the community, like the Winter Wonderland, now in its 14th year, in the all access playground at McKinley Park. Club President Val Ingalls says the day is a reminder of the importance of supporting youth and creating experiences that bring people together. If you're inspired to join, the club is hosting a New Optimist Wanted lunch on Thursday, February 12th at Pizza Ranch. Can enjoy a free meal while learning how to get involved. Watertown Mayor Reed Holeen is setting a new standard for how your tax dollars are spent on outside organizations. During a recent episode of the People's Pulse, the mayor discussed the Watertown Downtown Collective, a new group seeking city funding for dedicated coordinator. Holeen introduced the Accountable Grant, shifting from traditional donations to performance based contracts. Under a new agreement, the collective must meet specific benchmarks, creating a 4 signature events annually and tracking sales tax revenue to match return and measure on return on investment. The mayor also highlighted a recent win for public safety, the acquisition of a $50,000 narcotics identification device funded entirely by a state opioid settlement grant. This technology allows first responders to identify dangerous substances like fentanyl in seconds without physical contact, enhancing officer safety. For local residents with a business idea on a napkin sketch, professional help is available at no cost. Dr. Melissa Meidinger, Regional Director of the Small Business Development Center, recently joined Northeast Radio SD to discuss the Entrepreneur's Edge. The SBDC provides free, confidential consulting to help owners navigate everything from business plans to financial projections to regulatory paperwork. The impact is staggering. Over the last year, the statewide program helped entrepreneurs raise over $70 million in capital. Meidinger's 10-county region, the office helped secure nearly $17 million and launch 17 new businesses. Dr. Meidinger encourages owners to build an advisory board and never be afraid to ask for help, calling it the bravest thing a business can do. The Luck of the Irish is coming to Watertown early this year. The area Chamber of Commerce has unveiled a action-packed lineup for the 2026 St. Patrick's Day celebration. Festivities kick off next week at the Watertown Winter Farm Show, running February 11th through the 14th. This is your first chance to purchase the official 2026 buttons for $5, featuring a Lucky Mix 26 nostalgic CD design. One lucky buyer will win $500 in Watertown bucks. Mark your calendars for the main event on Saturday, March 14th. The day features a pancake breakfast, the crowning of Little Miss Shamrock and Mr. Leprechaun, and the annual downtown parade at noon. Chamber Director Ashley Johnson is also asking for nominations for the Watertown Community Hall of Fame. Submit nominations at watertownsd.com by March 16th. Watertown residents will soon have new tools for public safety and government transparency. City Manager Alan Stager confirmed this week that Code Red, a community-wide emergency notification system, is in its rollout phase and should be fully operational by March. In addition to emergency alerts, the city is finalizing an ethics reporting hotline to provide an objective channel for residents to report concerns in development news. A significant planning commission meeting is set for February 19th at 4 p.m. to review a request for tax increment financing, or TIF district. Finally, the city is looking for fresh perspectives to fill vacancies on various boards. Interested residents can now use the Apply to Serve icon directly on the municipal utilities website's homepage to submit applications and list their interests. Watertown Regional Airport is flying high to start the new year. Officials report a 7% increase in passenger enplanements for January 2026 compared to the same month last year, despite January and February typically being the slowest months for aviation nationwide. The airport recorded 946 passengers on board last month. The travel was split between the airport's two major hubs, with 433 passengers heading to Denver and 513 flying to Minneapolis-St. Paul. Airport staff and city officials are thanking local travelers for choosing to fly local during the midwinter season. For those planning spring travel, the airport encourages you to follow their social media channels for real-time flight updates and weather advisories. Booking information is also always available at watertown.us/airport. History was made at the Watertown City Council meeting as a new youth outreach initiative officially kicked off. Elliot Moffitt, a local homeschooled student, became the first volunteer to lead the council and the public in the Pledge of Allegiance under a new program invited by the mayor. The mayor called Moffitt brave for stepping up after expressing an interest in the city government following a recent meeting. Moffitt shared that he stays active in the community through swimming and hockey, and that his favorite subject is math. This initiative originated from the mayor's visits to local elementary schools to engage younger generations in civic duties. Mayor Holeen praised Moffitt's performance, telling the young man, quote, "You nailed it. Great job," end quote. South Dakota roadways were significantly safer in 2025. Preliminary data from the Department of Public Safety reveals a 5-year low in fatalities, with 16.9% decrease in deaths from the previous year. There were 110 fatal crashes, resulting in 123 deaths statewide. Highway Patrol Superintendent Colonel Casey Collins credits the progress to the commitment of troopers and responsible drivers. However, officials say there is still work to increase to 35 deaths. Perhaps most concerning is seatbelt use. 59% of those killed in crashes where belts were applicable were not wearing them. Motorcycle fatalities also dropped by 30% last year following extensive safety training courses. South Dakota consumers may be eligible for compensation following a major settlement over drug price fixing. Attorney General Marty Jackley announced settlements totaling nearly $18 million with Lynette Company and Bausch Health to resolve allegations of market manipulation. These schemes allegedly involved inflation, drug prices, and restricting trade in generic medications. Jackley is also part of a 42-state coalition filing a lawsuit against Novartis and Sandoz, accusing them of conspiring to rig bids for 31 different generic drugs. Your news this hour is brought to you by Watertown Development Company. Watertown's established economic growth and development professionals. Check out the no-cost online courses available to help local entrepreneurs. Learn more at wdcsd.com under the Events tab. The Watertown Development Company equals economic mobility. Read full in-depth stories online at northeastradiosd.com. If you enjoy our daily news recap podcast and live interview uploads, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter delivered straight to your inbox every morning at 6 a.m. And with today's local and state news from Northeast Radio SD Studios, in Watertown, South Dakota. I'm Steve Jurens.